Louise, great grace is upon you. You set your heart to serve, and yet the rug got pulled out from under for a time, but you're doing well. You are doing what I want you to do. You believe for another couple, they're working and problems, and I hear your prayer. And then there's another little one in anxiety and turmoil. I hear your prayer. I hear your prayers, and they ascend to me. I'm not done. I'm not done. Two hearts you wonder about, they'll turn back to you. Because though they turned away and were not receiving the glories that's on your life, I call them back. And indeed, you shall yet be used to speak power into their life. You will live and not die. The curse of the family will not come upon you. This is my promise. You watch and see. I do have you where I want you. In Jesus' name. Great grace, my sister. For indeed the hand of God, strong upon you. And you will teach and you will instruct. And indeed, this is your future. And there's all about you, more and more of it. You're a great success. Even you're going to win some awards in that which you bring forth. Because you do good. Yes. And here's my promise, you will not stand alone. You wonder, indeed, am I going to do this? Am I going to have to do this, endure? No, I'm sorting out a heart. And I'm sorting out and making things happen for the future. And indeed, you even had to work through some issues this year, finding your own identity. Yeah. And it was me and you did well. Yeah. And you're on the other side of this. Now let me work with other hearts. Let me work with them around you, because you're going to raise up us into the full callings that they're put in the earth to do. And this will be your passion. And you'll send them out to many regions of the world. Yeah. And you'll watch and see. Great grace is upon you. Manage things. Run things. Because indeed there's a power and a discernment on you to see the hearts of young and old. And this is who you are. In Jesus' name. Great grace. Woman of God. Woman of faith. Woman who secured others when they would have quit. They would have given up. You keep on going. Because you were their sustainer. You were the one that put them through. And then you had to stand alone for a time. And there was not the support and strength that you needed. And you made it on through, woman of God. You did well. You did well. You're a good mom. Why does the enemy lie? Why does he tell things that are not of me? You did good. And yet you risked it. And you paid it through a price. You came on through. And you had to leave and sacrifice even the heart commitments of the past. You did well. You did what you had to do. In the event, the things you faced, you did what you had to do. So do not think you failed. As of October, take a new position in your life and be blessing it. I will provide and I'll be Jehovah Jireh. You watch and see. You will not go without. You will not go without. This is my promise. Because you have taken care and mothered others, and you have always been there to meet their needs, I will take care of you. This is my promise. You will not be abandoned. Woman of God, you've extended grace and not condemned others, and I love it. It's my heart in you. I do hear, says the living God. Great grace. For indeed your words are encouraging others. Yeah. And indeed you are a light and a life. And indeed others do see, and they know your integrity. They know your path. They know you never vary. This is how they see you. You've done well. But I will bring healing. I will use strength. And I will continue to use you. And you will not have to feel like you're abandoned nor alone. You found me. We found each other. And heaven opened, and I am the one who's visited you again and again and again. And nobody can take that away from you. I am the one who comes when you're alone. And I am there. Yet I will use your words to stir others. Because there is a tremendous life that comes out of simplicity that I love. And indeed, it has connection to my very throne room, says God. So you keep doing it. You believe for another. Great grace, great grace. Woman of God, you set your heart. And years ago, you said this has got to happen. When you paid a price to make things happen, and it cost you dearly, and others did not support you, you came on through. And now you're finally seeing the fruit of years and years ago when you took this stand. Do not think bad. Think finally, this is here. You yourself have had to endure. You yourself have had to go on through alone and carry the sense of responsibility. You did well. You took a stand. And it cost you everything. But now the fruit comes forward. And the harvest is there. And you rejoice in it. And you don't feel guilty for rejoicing in it. Because it's time, Mom, to realize you did a good decision. You made a decision you had to make. Even when they didn't seem like they were going to make it, you kept believing. And I love your love for your people. And indeed, this is who you are. And it will never sustain nor weaken. always flowing through you will be a strength and a grace toward them. It's who you are. It's who you are. So don't you give up. Don't you give up. Considering then a transition, knowing that things have to be done, don't be afraid. People will counsel and love you through this thing, and it's going to happen gracefully. You will not be alone in it. In Jesus' great name. Woman of God, great grace. Somehow discerning the heart of another, wanting things to change, not knowing where to go. And then there's things you care for, and you say, I got so much to do right in front of me. Takes care of this, takes care of this. And not having the passion and the time to do what you really wanted to do. And I have not disqualified you. Sometimes things just get so busy you can't do right now the great dream that you had. Years ago, you said, send me, Lord. Years ago, you had a dream for a vision to be fulfilled. It is still on hold, but it will be fulfilled. There will be walls broken for cultures, and you will minister to great bodies of people. And just because this trial at this present time is here, and you've not been able to know how to act toward this one, you are not disqualified. Things are going to work. Things are going to work. I promise you, things are going to work. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. And what through it will come is a woman of heart, a woman who loves others in struggles, a woman who has the exact word to set them free, a woman who can counsel, a woman who can stand up in front of many people and with confidence know God, and they will know this is who you are. There's a heritage from the family lineage, and it lands the strength on you and not the weakness. You fought off the weakness and carried the strength, and it is with you, and it's going to get you through this time. You watch and see. Great grace, great grace. I hear your prayer, the cry within you to see some change. You let me take care of it. You cling to me and let me love you during this time. I will take care of it. In Jesus' right now. Woman of God, woman of grace, fully capable of managing things, putting things together, some training that's going to be used that you desire to finish. I want you to go for it. I want you to do it. I want you to believe for the bigger things. I want you to posture yourself not just in a little circle of influence, but to be taken to places where you can influence other people of influence, people of finance, people in politics, people of community level authority. I will put you there, and you should not be afraid. You have your fears, put them back, because I called you and you knew it, and you knew you cannot hide in the background. I am going to force you to be on the forefront. And then you are not disqualified, for there was a tearing of your heart and a piece left, but I've got you, and I have not disqualified you. You are walking before me, and I will use you powerfully to speak the word that will sear another's heart of great influence. Then another one, and another one. There's some writings that will come forth from you. These things shall be produced and read by many people across the internet. You're putting some things out, and they're being published. You watch and see. All these things are for your future. Don't back down to complete the training that you considered, because indeed, I've got big things for you to do. In Jesus' name, great grace. Woman of God, always caring for others, always gathering them, always loving them, and here they are, and comfortable in your presence. They open up their hearts to you. They have no fear. I love that about you. I love it. Because you've always been that way. Others were rejected, others pushed to the side, but you never did that. And even before this new thing, you break traditions of Christianity and come into a whole new freedom. Even before you knew me this way, you've always, I seized you as a young girl and talked to you, and you knew it. Somehow resolving things with your family who do not understand where you're at. You are now at peace in yourself, even though they did not know. And because of that, I will change their opinions. You held your son when he was feeble till the end. You did well. But now you keep on walking. There was pain, there was death, and you kept on going. Woman of God, woman of care, woman of love. This is who you are. Nursing and caring. You've always been there, and I like it. Now will someone take care of you? Now will somebody be there? Will you open your heart to let them support you through this? Indeed, you should. Because you're not just a giver. It's time also to let people help. I will help you financially. There'll be some investments made that will take care of you. You watch and see. You watch and see. You're going to get some counsel on this, but it's going to work. And you're not, even though there was a loss and there was not the support you demanded, no, here it is. I am here. I'll get you through this thing. Somehow a house, the grace of God upon it. And indeed, I will maintain things. Don't you be afraid. Great grace. Bless you. Taking a stand again and again and again and again. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you don't see the fruit of it. but you've always been able to take a stand no matter what it costs. I like that. You were a standard bearer. You were a fulcrum. Everything pivoted because of the decision you made. Administrative decisions, and people making charges for their lives, because here you are, a standard, and yet your heart crushed and ripped. Again and again, when you backed away alone and you asked questions before me, and I'm not afraid of your questions, says God. Indeed, you can pour out your heart to me, and I will not be offended. Because indeed, I know your heart to love me and serve me, and that has never changed. And yet, the racking within you now, there's great grace to get you through this. You're going to step through this thing, and it's going to get easier. You do not have to fit yourself into the relationships where there was frustration and pain, and you try to force yourself to produce. I'm going to put you in a place where it's easier to produce the gifts, the grace that you have, to make things run right. You know, I put you, and there's a Joseph anointing to be blessed everywhere you go. And you labor, and you don't get the credit for it, but my presence is there, and you've seen it, and I've known it. But I'm going to put you in a place where it will be noticed. Hear them this, the promise. I change, I work. A heart must change, because there was a wall of communication that yet must weaken. You've asked it of me, and it is happening. It is happening, so you rest in it. Things will work. Things will work in Jesus' name. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Bless you. Pushing through right now, this season of your life. You have to. But I taught you so many things, and it succeeded in the past. It did. And you know it's going to work again. So now as a sister, you know it's in the Lord or natural, believing for, struggling for. Then you had to endure yourself. Similar things you had to go through, and you see the pain and the anguish. Woman of God, we're going to get through. We're going to get through. We're going to get through. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You put it on yourself and wonder what you could do. You beat yourself up forever. That's not me. Those are not my faults. There was a strategy the enemy that came against loved ones. And indeed, it was his strategy. But he can't keep on winning. It's going to happen. It's going to break. You're this pusher. You're this one who makes it on through. You've always been this way. So you're not going to lose. You're going to get through this thing. Somehow, there is not the support and the strength. No one was there. You said I pulled away and oppression came over you. You almost gave up. The passivity that happened in the past almost came back. But you got on top of it. You're doing better than you realize. You're doing better than you realize. And you're going to make it through this. You watch and see. So now you have strength. And you're wondering, will this one be hurt through this? No. I protect young hearts. I promise you, I will protect the young hearts. You watch and see. And that was your greatest concern. So you watch and see. I'll take care of you. Man of God, you set your heart to push on through. There was a place at one point, and you rose up and you said, God, I desire, and you partnered with others. You put yourself in the midst of people who are doing things for God. And then it got sidetracked. Rug got pulled out from under, and you said, now I don't know where to go. I don't know what's next. But you know, you proved faithful in that brotherhood relationship. And I'm building it again. And you will work with others. There'll be a place. But somehow you're going to have to fend for yourself. You're not going to work for another. I want you to run things. I want you to rise up and be promoted in a place where there's provisions. But you lock arms with brothers and you say, we have strength for one another. We have strength to do it. Years ago, one that you said, but he was taken away. His heart was moved and I was not able to give access like I wanted to. You didn't fail. You didn't fail. I heard prayers and I took care of them as they grew up. You keep going. You keep going now. Because here's my promise. I have a promotion where there's provision. I have a promotion where you'll be more managing things. I have a promotion where you'll not be put on the shelf and be unable to do the things that you want to do. You're writing down some contract and papers and signing some things. I'll open up these doors again. You watch and see. This will not endure. It's almost broken. So you keep on going. Press this through now. And you believe for another. It's not your job to make that shift. But my promise is you will not stand alone.